Welcome to another Mind Right Monday. I'm Bonnie Kelly. Today we're talking about how you can have a functional relationship with dysfunctional people. Hey guys, welcome to another Mind Right Monday. I'm Bonnie Kelly, and today we are talking about one of my favorite topics that just makes me laugh. Because this gets brought up more than I think anything else in my personal development practice is, Bonnie, how do I deal with my colleagues or my family or these people that have no interest in self-development, who have no interest into changing their thought processes or their belief systems, and no interest in being their best self, while I'm over here doing all this work to be an optimal, awesome person. How do I deal with that? Because people who tend not to work on themselves, and I'm not coming from a place of judgment, tend not to have a level of emotional or mental control. They tend to be more engaged in drama and have more dysfunction in their life because they haven't done the work to get out of their way, to transform their belief systems, and to be a better version of themselves that is less reactive. So how do you do this? How do we have these relationships? Now, what I find more than anything, and I know I've said that twice now, but what I also find is that typically people are talking about their family. That when their family is behaving dysfunctionally or they have dysfunctional tendencies, how do you as a healthy, functional person really handle that? And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how you can be less reactive to their dysfunction and not allow that toxicity to spew all over you. I kind of like to think of it like Slimer off of Ghostbusters, right? He's such a good ghost, but he doesn't mean to slime you, but he does, and you're like, ugh, gross, I'm slimed. Well, this is how I think of connecting with dysfunctional people, is they don't mean to just slime you. Their intention probably is good, or they just don't know any better. It's just who they are. And yet their slime gets all over us. Now, how you choose to respond to that slime is your responsibility. So let's talk about my tips on how to have a functional relationship with dysfunctional people. My first tip is depersonalize their opinions, judgments, and drama. All right, it probably doesn't come to a surprise, but the very first tip is that you have to separate yourself from that. Now, I know, take it from me, I understand what it's like that when that drama gets projected on you, that you become the centered target, the bullseye for all of this dysfunction. It's very easy to get sucked into it and to take it personal. Well, we need to separate ourselves first and foremost and recognize that every single person is having their own unique experience, has their own opinions, has their own belief sets that have nothing to do with you. And though you might be related to or connected with, that really is their thing and not your thing. So all you can do is begin to just depersonalize. Recognize that I say a jerk is going to be a jerk to you and to everyone else. Don't take it personal. Someone who's going to be dysfunctional to you is probably dysfunctional to everyone around them. So we want to depersonalize and not take it as a personal attack. Do not feel the need to defend or to have to protect yourself from that. It has nothing to do with you. And even if Slimer does slime you, it's as simple as taking a shower to get that gunk off of you. So you kind of want to have that same thought process and being able to separate. Now, one of my favorite depersonalizing is to ask yourself, what are 3 other ways I can look at this? So what are 3 other reasons or ways that I can look at why this person's being dysfunctional that isn't personal to me? What belief systems do they have? What thought patterns do they have? What wounds have they not healed that are causing them to behave this way? When you can begin to separate this and really recognize that this is their personal experience and it doesn't have to be yours, we can begin to kind of put a little distance between us and the dysfunction. Now, this is just the start. I got 3 other ones that are going to help you, and let's dive right into the next one, which is limit your exposure and step out when you get sucked in. This is another big one, guys, is that you need to sometimes limit your exposure to that dysfunction. I know we often feel a lot of obligation, especially with family. But if you're constantly connecting with these family and you're feeling like they're energy vampires and they're sucking the life out of you, Well, until you truly build up that emotional resilience where that has no effect on you, you might need to limit your exposure for a time being. Now, the reason why I say that is because really, I truly believe no one can emotionally hurt you without your permission. You have to buy into what they're saying for it to really hurt. They can be throwing knives emotionally, but unless you agree or take offense to what they're saying, it can't create any emotional damage without you agreeing to it. So because I know this, you can build up an emotional resilience, right? You can get stronger with your ability to block, block, pow, poo, and deflect whatever they throw at you. But in the meantime, while you're building that resilience and that protection layer, you may need to take some breathers and to kind of limit your exposure. And you can easily do this by just being busy or picking up a hobby or beginning to do other things and filling your life with other activities that necessarily don't involve them. Now, that's a part of it. Now, the other side of it is that you're going to want to step out, meaning that call a timeout, give yourself some breather, go outside for a fresh air, go for a little bit of walk when you get sucked into it. Don't continue to perpetuate the engagement. You have to begin to break it off. So if you foresee it coming, if you sense yourself bubbling up, you can feel the anger, the frustration, the irritation, the annoyance coming to the surface, boy, that's your clue that you need to hit the hills as quick as you can. And that just means to step out for a moment to regain emotional control, then come back and handle the situation differently. That different situation could be asserting a boundary. It could be reframing your thoughts, just depersonalizing. Release your expectations. There's a lot of things that you might need to do to change that so the behavior changes. But again, you can't change their dysfunction, especially if they have no desire to change it or they're not even aware that they're causing it in the first place. All right, this leads me to my third tip, which is release expectations of who you think they should be and get real with who they are. Now, this is a whole video in and of itself. It's talking about releasing expectations. One of the biggest things that causes a lot of heartache in relationships is who we expect other people to be. We expect them to have the same values, to have the same beliefs, the morals, and understandings that we do, especially if we've been around them for years. We expect them to know us by now. Well, these unspoken expectations are unspoken agreements that they might not have agreed to. They might have different values and beliefs and what they think is right and needs to go first. And that's okay. It just might not be okay for you. But by releasing our expectation of who they should be, we can start to release that disappointment. So what you want to begin to do is evaluate that person and that relationship as they are. What can you expect? What behaviors do they tend to do? What responses? What annoys them? What are their triggers? Get clear with who they are and how they typically behave right now. Now, again, that person might evolve and change as well, but your goal is to begin to release that dysfunction from you, meaning that it's not sliming you in your engagements. Well, the best way to do that is really just release who you think they should be, how they should act, what they should do. And if you guys know me, shoulding, remind you, is a form of shaming. We want to remove all of that and get real of who they are. Then make a decision once you get clear with what you can expect. Is this a relationship that I choose to continue to move forward with? If the answer is yes, then you need to develop a relationship based on the true person and not the hope of who they can be. Now, I have one more tip. I know this video is long today, but this is good, and I need to help with one more final tip to help you have a functional relationship. And that is, reflect on your part. What role are you playing in this dysfunctional game, and what can you do to change it? This is the last and final tip because, again, you're always seeking to be the best version of yourself. So we have to reflect on how we're participating in this dysfunctional game. Are you getting reactive? Are you getting defensive? Are you being protective? Are you spewing expectations? What role are you playing in this dysfunctional relationship that is perpetuating the dysfunction? If you are a functional person, but yet you're getting sucked into dysfunctional relationships, you're participating, and you need to know how. So you can remove the dysfunction from your side and still just allowing them to be dysfunctional. And then choosing, if I choose to have a relationship, I'm choosing to move forward knowing that this is truly who you are. So we get out of this fantasy, get out of this butterflies and rainbows, and begin to get real with, yeah, that's them. They're just like that. And not take it personal, not make it a reflection of you, and then just learn to navigate the limitations that they are presenting you. All right, so hopefully this video has helped. I get asked often this question, and if you have a personal dev question just like our other viewers, make sure to email us at getinspired@bonniekelly.me. Don't forget, we're on all social media platforms. You can friend, follow, Snapchat, tweet us on all social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is amazing. We are awesome, but you are more. We'd love to continue to connect with you in delivering these awesome videos, and the only way we can assure that happens is if you subscribe. All right, guys, until next week, I'm Bonnie Kelly.